welcome. Hey,
everyone.
Amy. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Isabel.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to Youth Champion Spring Semester Workshop. So while we're waiting for others to join, please take a moment to answer the poll on your screen. Yep, thank you. And yes, waiting for others to come. Mm.
Pueden,
Just a quick reminder, please make sure that you change your full name, your Zoom display name into your full name so we can note your participation. And also, please be reminded to turn on your camera during the entire session. If you cannot, or if you are experiencing any technical issues, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or notify us, YC staff member. And also, one important reminder. Please don't forget to submit your workbook and survey by Friday before 5 p.m. to make sure that you receive your points. So that's all for me. I'm going to pass it on to Tauren.
Sorry, Tori, you're on mute.
Okay, I just wanted to show you an example of using technology in this cohort. Okay, make sure you're off mute when you are participating. I wanted to welcome you all. Welcome to 2026. It's so good to see you. And to our new students, welcome to the Tuesday night cohort. So this program, you're going to run the show. So I look forward to hearing from you, getting to know you, and seeing what you took away from last week and what stood out. So I see the poll on the screen. And I'm going to jump right in and look for a volunteer, and specifically around question three. If you could describe your focus for the next 12 weeks in one word, what would it be? Is anyone brave enough? I will pick on somebody. So let's go ahead and get a volunteer. How about Sakura? Let's jump in.
Uh, I'm sorry, could you just repeat the question?
Yeah, so are you able to see the poll on the screen? So I can read it to you. So the question was, if you could describe your focus for the next 12 weeks in one word, it would be, what would be your answer?
Probably consistency, especially with work, just really trying to consistently finish it earlier in the day.
Okay,
I,
okay. Is there if you don't mind me asking, is there a specific goal you're trying to drive consistency around?
just I've been trying to like work on like writing something, and so
Okay.
being consistent in like writing something every single day.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. A little bit every day goes towards the goal. And I want to thank you, Sakura, for being our first volunteer of 2026. Let's get some hearts up for Sakura. All right. If we can get the slide deck up and running, we can get right into the programming for this evening. All right, great. So today we're getting into mindset fundamentals. So this workshop is going to explore clarity of vision and goal setting, and helping to create momentum around your goals. And Sakura brought up something that's very important is, right? You have this large end goal, etc., but it's your daily activities and consistency around them that will drive you towards there. Even if you're doing a little bit every day, that's constantly making progress, always moving forward is the way to go. And setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible, right? So it starts up here and then we move forward. Let's go on to the next slide, please. So
Stop
today's
making
learning.
noise.
Hey, Heaven, good to see you. Learning objectives for today are clear vision, offers direction and purpose, transforming into measurable SMART goals for progress. Those of you who were here last year, last year, remember that SMART goal. Growth occurs outside comfort zones. Remember, if you're comfortable, you're in danger. And develop a growth mindset by setting stretch goals and embracing challenges. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Karen, and her whole thing is relentless self-improvement. constantly setting a mark and reaching for it. And then the other part is receiving feedback on like other things that she can work on. And those are her habits, right? So now we're going to look at the identifying the necessary mindset, focus, and habits for success for the next 12 weeks. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Let's go to the next slide. So for this slide, I'd love to hear what stood out to you from last year. What stuck with you? What have you been putting in practice? And I don't mind going first, and then I'll ask for some volunteers. What the big thing for me was hearing a lot about you guys, your introduction to budgeting, right? Tracking every single dollar. I mean, I have big plans for 2026, and that's where you really start focusing on every dollar, right? One of the big things for me is eating out. Don't eat out because every time I eat out, I see it as a threat to the destination that I'm getting to. On top of that, the leadership series. Remember, you can be a leader without the title, and if you have a title, that still doesn't mean you're a leader unless you're exhibiting those behaviors. Um, and now I'd love to hear from you guys. Does anybody want to volunteer and tell me something that stood out from this list here? Alejandra, Happy New Year. Come on in.
Happy New Year. So for me, I felt like what stood out to me the most was obviously the mindset because I felt like coming into this new year, I feel like I have like a stronger, much more like positive outlook, and I have been doing a lot more of my hobbies again and trying to put myself out there
Okay.
because I kind of like yeah, for like a while I was just like kind of stuck in the same like idea like oh I can't do it if I don't do it I like I'm just stuck like this right now. But now I'm thinking, oh wait, if I put myself to it, I can achieve basically anything. And after doing like my college like applications, I feel a lot more confident and a lot more like ready to go on with the new year.
That's awesome. You got those done? College applications are in?
Yep, they're all in.
Let's go. And you said something huge though, right? It's like if you change it up here first, stop telling yourself the story about I can't too much, etc. And you say, okay, I can, and then you start to wonder about how. And then things get in motion. Thank you so much, Alejandra. Does anybody else want to volunteer? Can I get one more? All right, Edith, come on in. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And what stuck with me the most was financial because I have like a savings account. So when I had a quince, I put majority of that money, like no, more than half of that money into savings account so it could like steadily like increase over the years. And I'm
Yeah.
also not able to touch it until I'm 18 years old. So then the money that we just got from last semester, I didn't use it at all. I also put savings account so that that could like continue increasing so that for college I have like some money to help me pay for it.
That's awesome. You know, you and I are doing the same thing, right? So the whole idea of what can I pay my future self? What favors can I do my future self? And you just paid your 18-year-old self a
We
lot of
have a
money,
meeting right
right?
now. Don't.
And then when you get to 18, you can do that again. You just continue doing that through life. One of my favorite things is delayed gratification. If you don't need it today, put it towards tomorrow and let's not waste. Thank you so much, Edith. I appreciate you. Okay, one last call for a volunteer before we move on. All right, let's go ahead to the next slide. All right, so vision and goal setting. So this is something where at the beginning of this 12 weeks, it'd be good for you to start thinking about where you see yourself 12 weeks from now, right? And so having that clear vision provides direction and purpose. And you can make that tangible by getting it on paper and writing down your goals, right? No matter how small or big, writing them down will make them more achievable. Right. And think about the SMART goals: specific, very specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. For example, saying I want to be in better shape, like that's a great idea, but saying, okay, I'm going to work out 3 days a week at this gym, right? We get specific and then the steps become a little bit more realistic. And so we'll go to the next slide. And this is going to be our first workbook question. So I want to hear and share amongst yourselves as you do this, describe a goal you set in the last year and how did it go? Think about what motivated you to set the goal in the first place, any obstacles you overcame to show some resilience about yourself. So take the time here, and then we're going to do breakout rooms. All right. YC staff, you can go ahead and set that timer. Thank you. Thank you. Let's head off into our breakout rooms and please share with each other.
See you later, guys.
Bye. See you later.
All right, we'll give a couple more seconds for everybody to get back in. I heard somebody talking about procrastination, and I thought they were coming from me. I was like, "Oh, how did you know?" I'm struggling with that one as well. All right, let's get some volunteers from the rooms. You can share about yourself or something that you heard that stood out to you. Maybe one of the student leaders wants to jump in and share for the group or alumni. All right, I see some hands. Come on in, Amy.
Um, for my group, the one that was repeated was being more social, which I understood like greatly with that one. And for my own goal, it was basically to like I guess like integrate better into college and also get good grades, which I think I've been pretty well, but I think I still have like more ways to go.
Okay. And what has been keeping you from integrating into college, if you don't mind sharing?
Honestly, I think it's just something that takes time, to get used to.
Okay.
Takes more time. I think like I've gotten like my schedule down, but
Okay.
I definitely think like since with class changes and I need to like adapt more and like get used to finding another schedule that works for me.
Okay. Okay. Just kind of like the rhythm of everything. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, adjustment takes time. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Come on in. Dr. Castro, Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Happy New Year. One goal that I set for myself last year was being able to maintain my grades, which were mostly A's and B's, for my final. And for me, it was a roller coaster of emotions because most of our classes, the test's worth is like around 90% to 80% of our grade
Wow.
for each test. So if we basically fail one test, you're basically almost failing, or basically failing the class if you fail one test.
So that's the whole game.
And yeah,
How did
yeah,
you manage
basically.
that? How did you manage that throughout the semester?
I mastered that by trying to like put a time schedule like to also get rid of distractions from my phone because I usually do get distracted when my phone rings or someone sends me a message and that distracts me from doing work. But what I do is basically set a phone time limit to how much I can look at my phone. And also my parents, my mom specifically helping me tell me to do the extra mile or extra effort in your work because while it may be difficult, it'll end up paying off in the end.
I love that. You said a couple important things, right? Keeping your phone on do not disturb and then like having that time bound. It's like, all right, you have this amount of time and then you're not spending forever on it. I love that. And then when you have like a goal that's one big test, like holding yourself accountable to stay consistent and not waiting to study till the last minute. I love that. Thank you, Dr. Castro. Alejandro, come on in again.
Okay, so I was with two students who spoke really similar things about wanting to maintain their grades throughout their throughout the last year. One of them being a senior and one of them being a junior, and I found it really interesting how they both were pushing themselves to both learn like the material and be familiar with it, but also they knew like why it's important for them to maintain this grade rather than just like validation. They were like, oh, I need this for a good college so that I could seem a lot more like competitive, or I need to show that I have been maintaining my grades and I didn't and I didn't basically kind of slump out during my senior year, especially during the fall semesters. There's a lot seniors start to really feel that senioritis kick in.
Yeah, no, that's great. That goes back to something that Edith said about your future self. Like, why am I doing this? I have a question though. Did anybody share how they keep reminding themselves of their why?
I, one of the students actually did mention that they basically, what for them, okay, I don't want to say their name, but basically they reminded themselves like with their family specifically because they had like people who were motivating them to do the best that they can and always push for like the highest that they can achieve, and they always kind of felt like they need to push themselves in order to prove that they can do it and that they can achieve whatever they can set their mind to. And for them, they mainly use their parents as inspiration to keep pushing themselves.
I love that. I love that. Using the people around you as accountability partners. And that's something you can use for life, right? So when you're outside of your parents' house, like that's where being careful about who you surround yourself with, making sure they're positive and they're keeping you focused towards your goals is super important. Thank you, Alejandra. Come on in, Ashley.
So I had a very similar goal. It was about my grades as well and maintaining the, like straight A's and my current GPA. And I honestly feel like it went pretty well because I was taking mostly honors classes and I got A's in all of them. I think the only challenging course was the AP pre-calculus class I was taking because I wasn't very used to the workload and the extra time that went in. But I feel like as I went on, I got to learn more and become like used to the schedule. And I got to go to many after school hours and I ended up studying and I got a A on the final and on my final grade. So I ended up achieving the goal of getting straight A's.
Oh, look at you. And you're the aerospace engineer, right?
Yeah.
The astronaut. That's right. All right. We're rooting for you. Well done. Well done. All right, come on in, Eli.
Well, something that stood out with me in my group is that like we noticed an occurring like issue with keeping up with our goals was like with our main goals being too vague. Like for me, it
Yeah.
was like eating more healthy, or someone else who would stop procrastinating. And like we were talking about how we think those goals were just so like vast that we didn't have like a clear path to stick on, so it made it harder to like stay true to our goals throughout the year.
Okay. And did you guys, thank you for sharing that. Did you guys talk about maybe some strategies going forward?
Not really. We just talked about like our goals, but I guess like strategies I could think of is like setting more like shorter term, like clear goals in mind, like more specific. Like instead of eating healthy, maybe it's like trying to incorporate more greens or something like that. Like something more specific that you can think of every day instead of something like so vague and vast.
Yeah. Here, let me give you that. Thank you so much for sharing that. A great way to bring that into tangible, you can go start with the grocery list, right? Like I'm only buying these things, and then you know this is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then just repeat that over time. It's a lot of boring repetition. I love that. Thank you so much, all of you, for participating. Let's go ahead to the next slide, please. All right, growth mindset and expanding your comfort zone, right? So we talked about this last semester, and I'll tell you this all the time. You see how the comfort zone, how dangerous that is? We want to move towards growth. And we know that believing that your abilities can improve through effort, learning, and persistence is part of the growth mindset, right? And that requires a little bit of humility. So knowing like, okay, these are some things that I need to work on, it doesn't mean you are in a permanent state at being, you know, less than ideal at them. It just means, okay, with work, this will improve. So each new difficult experience strengthens natural connections. Failure and discomfort are not signs of weakness, right? You got to live in discomfort. Discomfort means you're growing. Somebody was telling me this. I love this story, right? So if you think of like a crab, when it's shedding, there's an in-between period before the new shell comes on, and it's just walking around vulnerable, uncomfortable. That discomfort is growth, right? Until that new shell comes in, you're getting used to this new behavior. You're getting used to stretching yourself, becoming that version of you. For us, it's that 12-week period, who you are 12 weeks from now. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, this is workbook question number 2. It's going to be the same format, so go ahead and do like you did before. Answer it and then share out with your peers. I look forward to hearing from you.
See you guys later.
All right. Hi, Amanda.
What's going on?
Welcome back, Ellie. So nice to see you all again. I think they're still trying to have the conversation. Three, two, one. Okay, they're back.
All right. Let's see, people trickling in here. I'll give them a couple seconds. I'm excited to hear. Let me see those hands. I want to hear about some when you made the expensive decision to stay in the comfort zone and what you learned from it. I heard some good ones just jumping around to the group. How about Heaven? Do you mind sharing with the group what you shared with me? All right, let's go for
Yeah.
it.
Um, so what I had shared was where I chose comfort over challenge was okay, so I'm in a church group and what I was chosen to do prayer since I've never done one. And where I chose comfort instead was I let my friend do it next to me because she's done it multiple times. And the reason why I chose comfort was because I thought I was gonna be judged and what happens if like I didn't know how to say what I wanted to say. And I feel like if I could go back within that moment, I would have just like stopped getting into my head and like know that it's okay if I messed up because it was my first time and like I can learn. And that can help me grow into like be more motivated to do more prayers and stop getting into my head.
There you go. Thank you, Heaven, for being brave. Yeah, I mean, part of growth is being okay looking silly the first time. You're not going to be good at it the first time, but you got to try first and then go from there. You'll figure it out. Appreciate you, Heaven. Okay, Alejandra, come on
All
in.
right, so we had a lot of good responses this time around as well. And
So you didn't have good ones the last time? Come on now.
no, we had both responses were really good.
There
But
we
this
go.
time around, I felt like there was a lot more, I guess, more like personal touch because one of uh one of the students mentioned how they didn't raise their hand to answer the question that a teacher asked them today. And it's mostly because everyone else wasn't doing it and they chose the easy route of staying quiet, not testing their knowledge on
Mm.
what's there, and ended up having to face the consequences because they don't know whether whatever the question or the answer they had in mind was really true or not. And they felt really like bad about it because they didn't test themselves and push themselves forward.
Yeah, that's a good one. The what if that you sit with, right? And then you never know how it's going to go. We were also sharing earlier how, particularly like in group settings, when nobody is raising their hand, you might all need to hear the answer to that question, or you might all have the same question. So that might be an opportunity for leadership for you to speak up because you might be doing it on behalf of other people you don't know. Okay, let's see. Student leaders, anybody else have something to share out from their group? All right, come on in, Amy.
Um, for one of them, it was pretty similar to me, like for like one of mine answers too. Like my whole like group in general was just like missing out like on especially like during like academics on like things you should have done, like whether it's like raising your hand or whether it's like going to fix something that could have gotten you like a better grade. It was just mainly stuff like that, which is also what I struggled with uh last year. So it was mainly that. It was mainly like just settling with what you got instead of like I guess going out to like change the outcome.
Yeah, that word settling. That's a tough one, right? Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Thank you all for your participation. Let's go on to the next slide, please. All right, so we're setting the tone for semester two. Can I have a reader to go through and read those sticky notes for me? Just one volunteer, some easy points, easy points. All right, Edith, jump on in.
Studying up for semester two. Preparation starts in your mind. Opportunity is practice growth. Intentional focus helps you grow. Discomfort is a signal of process. Stay curious, engaged, and consistent.
Thank you so much, Edith. Okay, and then Edith, I'm going to stay with you for a second. Which of those sticky notes really stood out to you and why?
Maybe, oh my God, opportunity to practice growth.
Okay, and tell me about that.
Actually, not in mind. Preparation starts in your mind. I choose that one instead because you really want to like motivate yourself to actually make you do something. Because if you're not motivated, you're not gonna actually want to do it. So as long as you find yourself motivated, your mind is like, okay, I want to do this. I want to make sure I do all my homework, and like just motivate your own self. Then yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it.
No, you said it perfectly. And let me call out this. I appreciate you for being uncomfortable in front of everybody else because I did put you on the spot a little bit there and you handled it really, really well. I'm proud of you, Edith. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so the next 12 weeks are an opportunity to practice growth. Don't strive for perfection. It's just getting better every day. And the only metric you need to compare yourself to is you yesterday, not anybody else, just you getting better every day. And you're the only one who can answer that question, right? Every challenge or mistake is a chance to improve. All right, let's go to the next slide, which is our last workbook question. And okay, so take the time to do this question here. What kind of person do you want to be at the end of these 12 weeks? And what mindset will you need to practice each week to get there? We're going to do this here. We're not going to do breakout rooms this time. When we're done, I just like to see some new volunteers to share what they wrote. All right. Thank you, staff. That music cracks me up. Okay, so get ready to participate. And before you get ready to jump in, a couple of things I want you to frame this around. So I want you to think about when challenges come up, right? How do you want to respond differently than you might have in the past? And then second is how will you remind yourself of your goals or mindset when motivation starts to fade? Because, beginning of the semester, everybody's excited, but it's that middle part where it's just doing it over and over again. How do you keep yourself focused? So I'd love to see some hands, love to see some new hands. Anybody who hasn't spoken yet, feel free to jump in. All right, Amy first, and then we'll go to Eli.
For me, I definitely want to be a person that's better at time management and being organized. I feel like the beginning of like this year, I kind of dropped the ball with that a little bit. So I hope like in these 12 weeks I could like regain that. And for this, so the mindset I'll need is basically like a more serious and like positive attitude because I've kind of been like coasting through it all, you know? Like I haven't been like too like disciplined as I should be. And I think mainly like something I'll do differently this time is instead of like having the mindset of like I'll get to it when I get to it, I'll like slowly like think about it. Because usually because I haven't like faced any like big repercussion, I could usually wait to do my assignments.
Uh-oh.
But I think this time I'll definitely try to like in the very beginning, I'll like slowly, even if it's like little by little.
Okay, so Amy, I'm going to ask you to stretch a little bit here, right? So we want specificity around time management. Are there any systems you can think of that you can set up for yourself ahead of time before things get crazy?
I think like referencing with like my schedule and like plotting in like certain like little even if it's like 30 minutes like into my calendar to make sure like I save like a certain time slot to do this and to do this so that I'm not overwhelmed.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Just like setting a time for when it's going to happen, and that's the only thing we're working on during that time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being so open. Okay, Eli was next, and then we're going to Francisco.
Um, I put that I want to be the kind of person who is like organized and grounded by the end of these next 12 weeks. I think I don't want to just like start a bunch of random goals for myself like I usually do and like ideas and projects, but actually like set a few small goals and be like, I don't know what the word is. I want to be intentional with what
Mm.
I'm gonna be doing. Yeah, I want to be an intentional person by the end of these 12 weeks. And I think in order to reach that, I'll need to have a focused mindset that takes things head on.
Yeah, no, I love what you shared there. We can't do everything, right? You just pick maybe two or three things. If you want to do things well, it's gotta be like a shorter list. One question I have for you is you mentioned the word grounded. What does grounded look like in 12 weeks?
Um, Grounded to me, I think it's like going back to not trying to do a million things, but just
Mm.
finding a good routine and sticking to it and like making good habits that like I do every day that are simple but like still benefit me.
I love that. Yeah, the small habits that compound over time. I really like that and keeping it simple. All right. Thank you, Eli. Francisco, come on in.
I guess the kind of person I want to be at the end of these 12 weeks is a more talkative and outgoing person, and like the mindset I need to have is like be positive. You know, just don't think about like any like just try to be positive. Just try to go through things. Don't think about any like negativity things that could happen. You know, because what's the worst that they could happen? You know.
I love that. And you're starting right now. You can use this class as practice, right? So maybe we could say you do one participation point in Youth Champions per Tuesday. And then on the positive mindset, tell me one positive thing that happened today.
One positive thing, I had a new PR in the gym.
Let's go. What was it?
There's a squat.
Okay.
I
What's the
hit
numbers?
I hit 400.
What? Okay. They're just embarrassing folks now. Thank you, Francisco, for participating. Thank you all. Does anybody else want to share? I'm excited to hear what we're looking at. How about you, Anthony? Yep, Anthony Padilla.
All right,
Oh, you got back on mute.
my bad. Okay, so what kind of person do I want to be at the end of these 12 weeks?
Hmm.
I want to be someone who is like low stress. Um, I've seen a lot on TikTok about cortisol and how that ages you. So I'm trying to ha keep low cortisol. So mindset, um, it's like a mindset that whatever happens to you, like 90% of life is what is how you react, and then 10% is what happens to you. So just having that mindset that like my whole life is determined based on how I react is gonna make me like allowed to stay calm and not get stressed out over things.
I like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, our reaction is the only thing we can control, right? But I'm also concerned because TikTok stresses me out. You went to TikTok to find out how to not be stressed out.
I mean, yeah, they talk about how it's important to keep your cortisol
Yeah.
low. So yeah, I get TikTok.
Okay. Okay. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. Okay, Alejandro, come on in.
For me, I wrote that I just want to be a person that is remembered after I've graduated and I had kind of established myself in the school as something, as someone to kind of look up to because I know for me, I always looked up to the peers that were like ahead of me, like were older than me. I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll be in their position. And I'm trying my best to do a lot more things this year to be more involved so that when students like look in the yearbook, they're like, oh yeah, wait, I know that girl. She got into this really good co college. She did this activity. She was everywhere. I want to be something like that because I feel like we just need someone that we can like appreciate like in like like in our school or someone to kind of look up to and go like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it too.
I love that. I love conversations around legacy, right? So now my question to you is in their interactions with you, because a lot of legacy is how people's interactions with you went. What do you want them to say about their time with Alejandra?
I really want them to say like, oh yeah, she was always really confident and I every single time I was around her, she was really like bubbly and she was always ready to go ahead and do things rather than wait around. I kind of want them to see that I took action rather than wait for it so that they feel like they could also just start going at it rather than wait for the right moment.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you're setting a positive example here tonight. We're starting off 2026, right? Thank you all. Let's go ahead to the next slide. All right. Oh, this is my favorite, right? This is what we're doing. Everything compounding in 2026. So next class, we're going to talk about investments. I'm going to ask for a reader to go through those bullet points for me, please. Come on, walk through the fear. 3 bullet points. Who's going to step up? There we go, Amy. Come on in.
Discover how money grows through saving and investing, including the power of compound interest. Explore risk versus return and how factors like inflation and fees affect real gains. By learning different investment types and the value of diversification, you'll build the mindset and knowledge for confident future financial decisions.
Thank you so much, Amy. And this is great. I think it's fantastic you guys are getting this lesson so early. And mindset can be applied to here, like our relationship with money and investment impacts how, your long-term trajectory. And you can start to make good decisions and plans that are agnostic to how you're feeling or what you think that your cap is around money. So if you start telling your money what to do, giving it work to do, you're making your life easy later. Um, and then around diversification, but we'll talk about this next time. We don't need to get into the details. Thank you, Amy. Thank you all for showing up. I'm so excited to start the new semester. My favorite. Let me see some pandas. I haven't seen any pandas today. For those of you new to the class, I call you all my participation pandas. I appreciate you. And thank you to YC staff for making today possible. Right now, we're going to give you if you go to the next slide, we're going to give you 90 seconds to, if there's anything in the workbook you need to finish up, go ahead and do that. And then I'll get into some announcements for this semester. Thank you. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to the next slide and let's get into these announcements. And also, if anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand anytime. Okay, looks like there's some points to be earned. Okay, first is the field trip, Junior Achievement Finance Park. So what you'll be doing is you'll be participating in a hands-on simulation where you'll step into adult roles and make real-world financial decisions. Using iPads and personalized life profiles, you'll practice budgeting, spending, and financial planning, which will give you practical insight into how everyday financial choices will shape your future. The date of those field trips are going to be February 7th and 14th, and the RSVP deadline is January 30th. And I personally, I really encourage you, I almost insist that you participate in this. This will change your life. All right, and then that one is 4 points. And then for 2 points, we've got the Ignite Speaker Series. It's going to be Miller McCoy, going from passion to paychecks, turning what you love into a real business. Miller McCoy will share how you can turn your interests into real skills and opportunities. He will also talk about finding your first passion, starting before you feel ready, using limitations as leverage, and why passion only works when paired with discipline. I love discipline. Consistency, like our friend Sakura told us earlier. All right, and then lastly, we've got the college match program. This quick form, which I'm assuming is going to be in chat, will help us keep track of whether you're currently involved in a college match program. And those are your announcements for the day. I'm going to hand it over to staff and wish you all a good rest of the week.
All right. Thank you so much for all of that, Tauren. You have been such a great facilitator, and I'm so glad to be able to see you again. And all of our new students as well. We have new ones right here. So welcome, welcome to you, champions. I also want to welcome all of our old students as well from last semester. We are so glad to see you guys, and so glad that you're going to be able to spend a spring semester with us. So thank you so much. Please don't forget to submit your workbook and survey by Friday 5 p.m. Also, make sure that for all of the forms that has been on the chat, make sure you fill those out because those information that we need. And also, I think that's all. If ever you have any questions, any concerns, you may submit that to our help form. It's going to be below. You can see it on the chat. And also for the workbook and survey links, you don't have to save them. You only have to save one link, which is the student guide website, and it's also going to be there below on the chat. So I think that is all for now. We're going to end 5 minutes early. See you guys next week. And yeah, I think that's all. Please send us emojis before you go. Thank you, Torrin, and thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye, Alejandra. Bye, Alexis. Bye, Delilah. Bye, Marcus. Bye, Heaven. Bye. Bye, Abigail. Bye, Aritza. Bye. Ashley.